Hi there, Jeremy O'Carroll, Director of the Fitzroy Learning Centres here. Today what I'd like to do is talk to you a little bit about the very unique history of the Fitzroy method, because I think if you understand a little bit about how the Fitzroy method was created, a little bit about its origins, then you'll understand more about just why it's so successful. Now, the interesting thing to note about the Fitzroy method is that originally it was not created like many programs for profit. In fact, it was simply designed to be taught in one of Australia's leading primary schools, Fitzroy Community School. If you go back to when Fitzroy Community School was founded back in 1976, it was during a period where whole language reading and writing methods was very strong. And when the co-founder and head of English, Faye Berryman, went to find some materials to teach in her classes, she discovered that actually all of the material in the educational bookstores was whole language based. Now you've got to recall that back in 1976 there wasn't the internet. It wasn't really very easy to access materials from faraway places, from overseas. So you're pretty well restricted to looking at the educational bookstores in your area, in your town, in this case in Melbourne. And Faye Berryman couldn't find phonics materials to teach her children. Now she was certain that this was the method she wanted to teach, even though it was very much out of favour at the time. And so she really had little alternative but to create her own phonics reading materials. And that is precisely what she did. And the original readers and worksheets that she created were fairly basic in a way. They were just handwritten, hand-drawn, but the method was very sound. Even from the very early days, it was such a sound method that students soon started to get excellent results. And over time, what happened was teachers from other schools started to inquire how students at Fitzroy Community School were getting such fabulous results in literacy, in reading, writing and grammar. And to begin with, to be honest, Faye Berryman and others weren't exactly sure why they were getting such good results, but eventually it dawned on them that the method they were using, these materials they'd created, actually were very successful. And again, over time, what happened was that more and more teachers started to look at this material, see its strengths, see that it was really one of the very best literacy programs that most of them had ever seen. And so what happened was they started to urge the creators of these materials, Faye Berryman and her husband Philip O'Carroll, to actually make these materials available to the general public. Now, as you can imagine, there was a degree of reluctance on behalf of these creators of the method because they were educators, not publishers. But eventually enough teachers from around Melbourne and even Australia started to urge them to publish these reading materials, and so that's precisely what they did. Now, the early versions of the Fitzroy readers were pretty basic. They were in black and white. The illustrations were pretty scratchy. But the thing was, the actual method, the system that they used was so sound that children consistently got great results and people didn't mind these rather basic additions. What this meant though was that over time, with the added popularity and the growing popularity of the program, then it enabled the now publishers of the Fitzroy method to revise their editions. And so these days we're actually up to the 8th fully revised edition of the Fitzroy readers. We've added a lot of support material, workbooks, computer programs and other accessories which really help get the most out of the program. And somewhat amazingly, for what started off as just a very small business, we've now sold over 1 million Fitzroy readers. And this is all the more remarkable when you consider that the creators of the Fitzroy readers, Fitzroy programs, It's just a small family-run business, and it has very little publicity. So this dramatic spread, this huge success of the Fitzroy Readers, which I might add are now in many, many countries abroad, in a lot of Asian countries like Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Korea and Taiwan. Well, this success was due simply to word of mouth. And you know, it's really something that the creators never would have dreamt possible going back to 1976, but due to the excellent results achieved by the method, results which are now even coming through in some of the national testing which the Australian government do, the Fitzroy Community School has consistently achieved in the very top part of the top % of the schools tested in Australia. So the results have always been there, and now, as I said, due to this success, it's spread all around the world. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit about the history of the Fitzroy method. If you'd like to find out more about it, just literacy in general, or the Fitzroy Learning Centres, then if you're already in the Fitzroy Method online portal, I advise you just to click around a little bit, look at some of the menus, you'll find more articles, more videos there for you. And if you're not currently in the Fitzroy Method online portal, then just wait till the end of this video and you'll find instructions on how you can sign up for it. Membership to it is free, so all you're going to have to do is just follow the links at the end of this video and you'll be able to sign up and immediately start watching more instructional videos. So, hope to hear from you sometime soon. Thank you.